From the birthplace of the blues to the state that grows the most sunflowers, the U.S. is filled with fascinating tales and trivia. But did you know there's a state where the first ambulance service was established? Or a state that's home to the world's largest buffalo statue? Stick around as we unveil over 200 intriguing facts about all 50 U.S. states. You won't believe what we've discovered about your state. Alabama is home to the U.S. Space Camp in Huntsville. The state's University of Alabama has one of the most successful football programs in U.S. history. Helen Keller, the first deaf-blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree, was from Tuscumbia. Huntsville is known as the Rocket City due to its close history with U.S. space missions. Alabama is a powerhouse in college football, with fierce rivalries and passionate fans. Alabama played a pivotal role in the civil rights movement of the 1960s. The USS Alabama, docked in Mobile, saw significant action during World War II. Super Speedway is one of the longest NASCAR oval tracks. Alabama's state insect, the monarch butterfly, represents its rich biodiversity. Historically, Alabama was a major producer of cotton. The state's Muscle Shoals is renowned for its significant contributions to American music. Alabama boasts beautiful Gulf Coast beaches popular among tourists. The state is a leading producer of peanuts in the U.S. Birmingham, once a center of the steel industry, is the state's largest city. Alabama has a dedicated cemetery for coon dogs, a testament to its unique culture. Mobile hosted the first Mardi Gras in 1703, 15 years before New Orleans. The first iced carbonated beverage was sold in 1819 in Montgomery. Alabama workers built the first rocket that put humans on the moon. The state is home to the famous Iditarod dog sled race. Alaska is one of the best places in the world to witness the northern lights. The state's Palmer holds records for growing giant vegetables, including a 138-pound cabbage. Alaska has a longer coastline than all the other U.S. states combined. The state has a population of about 100,000 black bears. Alaska's Prudhoe Bay is North America's largest oil field. The state's wildlife includes a large population of grizzly bears. Alaska is home to North America's highest peak, Denali. Alaska has over 3 million lakes and 100,000 glaciers. Alaska is renowned for its seafood, especially the Alaskan king crab. The state has a rich indigenous culture with over 20 native languages spoken. During summer solstice in some parts, the sun doesn't set for nearly 24 hours. Alaska has the highest number of pilots and aircraft per capita. The state saw a major gold rush in the late 19th century. The Trans-Alaska Pipeline spans 800 miles from Prudhoe Bay to Valdez. Before being purchased by the U.S., Alaska was a Russian territory. The state's waters are a prime location for whale watching. Alaska has some of the most intricate and tall totem poles in the world. Arizona is home to one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, the Grand Canyon. The state's saguaro cactus blossom is the official state flower and can live for more than 150 years. The Petrified Forest in northeastern Arizona contains America's largest deposits of petrified wood. Arizona has the largest percentage of its land designated as Indian tribal land. The original London Bridge was shipped stone by stone and reconstructed in Lake Havasu City. The best preserved meteor crater on Earth is located near Winslow, Arizona. The state shares the Hoover Dam, an engineering marvel with Nevada. Arizona's Sedona is known for its stunning red rock formations and vortex energy centers. The state's name, Arizona, is believed to originate from the Spanish Arizonac, meaning silver-bearing. Arizona has a rich Old West history, with towns like Tombstone preserving the legacy. Arizona produces more copper than any other state. Despite its desert climate, the state has a vibrant display of wildflowers in spring. The state has ancient pueblo structures like the Montezuma Castle. Arizona has some of the most scenic stretches of historic Route 66. The city of Chandler hosts annual ostrich races, a nod to its agricultural past. The state's Lake Havasu City is home to the original London Bridge. Arkansas is the only state in the U.S. where diamonds are naturally found. The state's Hot Springs National Park was the first federal reservation, predating the national park system. Arkansas's Hot Springs National Park was the first federal reserve before it became a national park. The state's Crater of Diamonds State Park allows visitors to hunt for real diamonds. The state's Ozark National Forest spans over 1 million acres. Arkansas is the birthplace of the 42nd president, Bill Clinton. The state's Arkansas River is the longest tributary in the Mississippi-Missouri River system. Arkansas is known for its high-quality quartz crystals. The state is the leading producer of rice in the U.S. The state was the birthplace of music legend Johnny Cash. Arkansas is part of Tornado Alley and often experiences severe weather. The state played a significant role in the desegregation of public schools in the 1950s. Arkansas has over 2,000 known caves and caverns. The state's Capitol building in Little Rock is the only one to house diamonds. Arkansas hosts the Ozark Folk Festival, one of the oldest folk festivals in the U.S. The state's official bird, the mockingbird, is known for its vocal abilities. The world's largest retailer, Walmart, was founded in Bentonville. Arkansas experiences a diverse range of weather, from tornadoes to snowstorms. The state's flag contains 25 white stars, representing it as the 25th state to join the Union. The state's name is a French interpretation of a Sioux word, akansa, meaning downstream place. California is known as the entertainment capital of the world due to Hollywood's presence. The state is home to the tallest living tree, a coast redwood named Hyperion. San Francisco Bay is considered the world's largest landlocked harbor. California is the birthplace of the internet and the skateboard. The state's animal, the California grizzly bear, is unfortunately extinct. California is the largest wine-producing state in the U.S. The state's name means colored red and is known as the Centennial State. The iconic Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco is one of the most photographed structures in the world. California's Hollywood is considered the entertainment capital of the world. The state is home to the tallest trees on Earth, the redwoods. California's Silicon Valley is the global center for technology and innovation. California's coastline is a paradise for surfers, with spots like Huntington Beach leading the way. The state's Disneyland in Anaheim is known as the happiest place on Earth. California's Death Valley is the hottest, driest, and lowest national park. The state has the highest number of billionaires, many from tech startups. The infamous Alcatraz prison is located in the San Francisco Bay. The state is known for its seismic activity, primarily because of the San Andreas Fault. California houses the largest tree by volume, the General Sherman tree. The state is considered the birthplace of skateboarding. California produces 90% of the U.S.'s avocados. Colorado provides the setting for more than 75% of the country's ski industry. The United States Air Force Academy is located in Colorado Springs. Denver, the state's capital, is also the most populous city within a 500-mile radius. The world's largest flat-top mountain is in Grand Mesa. Colorado's Great Sand Dunes are the highest dunes in the U.S. at a height of 750 feet. Colorado's Rocky Mountains contain 53 peaks that are over 14,000 feet. The state's capital, Denver, is known as the Mile High City because it's exactly 1 mile above sea level. The state's Mesa Verde National Park has some of the best preserved ancient pueblo dwellings. Colorado is a world-renowned destination for skiing and snowboarding. The state is home to the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. Colorado has one of the highest concentrations of craft breweries per capita. The state has rich deposits of dinosaur fossils, including the Stegosaurus. Colorado is a haven for mountain biking enthusiasts. The dome of the state capitol in Denver is plated with real gold. The state's Colorado River is one of the principal rivers in the U.S. The summit of the famous Pikes Peak is over 14,000 feet high. The state's Red Rocks is a naturally formed amphitheater used for concerts. Colorado's alpine meadows burst with wildflowers in the summer. Connecticut is home to the first U.S. university, Yale. The world's first ever nuclear-powered submarine was built in Groton. The state claims to have invented the hamburger in 1895. The first speed limit laws for cars were set here in 1901. The helicopter was first invented in Connecticut. The first lollipop-making machine opened for business in New Haven. The state's Groton is known as the submarine capital of the world. Connecticut's name is derived from the Algonquian word meaning land on the long tidal river. The state is renowned for its vibrant fall foliage. The first hamburger was reportedly served in New Haven in 1895. Connecticut has a picturesque shoreline along the Long Island Sound. The state is the birthplace of the famous C.W. Post, founder of Post cereals. The Pez Candy Company is headquartered in Orange, Connecticut. The state was home to famous author Mark Twain during his most productive years. Connecticut's Mystic Seaport is the nation's leading maritime museum. The state's Hartford is one of the oldest cities in the U.S. Connecticut has several historic lighthouses along its coast. The state has several picturesque covered bridges. Connecticut's Danbury was once the hat capital of the world. Delaware was the first state to ratify the U.S. Constitution. The state is known for its pristine beaches, attracting millions of bird-watching enthusiasts. Over half of all U.S. publicly traded companies are incorporated in Delaware. The state's Delaware River is named in honor of Thomas West, Lord de la Warr. The peach blossom is Delaware's official state flower. The state hosts a major NASCAR event, drawing large crowds annually. Delaware Bay is one of the most important shorebird habitats in the Western Hemisphere. More than half of all U.S. publicly traded companies are incorporated in Delaware. The state's Delaware Memorial Bridge is one of the world's longest suspension bridges. The state's Dover International Speedway is one of the premier NASCAR tracks. Delaware's Rehoboth Beach is known as the nation's summer capital. The state's New Castle is an architectural treasure with buildings dating back to the 1700s. The Delaware River is a major river on the Atlantic coast of the U.S. The state's official flower is the peach blossom, reflecting its agricultural heritage. Delaware hosts an annual Punkin Chunkin competition, where pumpkins are launched in the air. The state's Fort Delaware served as a prison for Confederate prisoners during the Civil War. Delaware Bay is a critical habitat for horseshoe crabs. The state's Delaware State University is one of the country's historically black universities. The state boasts the Winterthur Museum, one of the premier museums of American decorative arts. Delaware's Nemours Mansion is one of the grandest Gilded Age mansions in the U.S. Florida's Walt Disney World Resort is the most visited vacation resort in the world. The state's Everglades is the largest tropical wilderness of any kind in the U.S. Florida's Kennedy Space Center has been the launch site for every U.S. human spaceflight since 1968. Florida is the largest producer of oranges in the U.S. The state's Kennedy Space Center has been the launch site for every U.S. human spaceflight since 1968. Florida has the highest average precipitation of any state. The state's tourism industry is one of the largest in the world. Florida has the most golf courses of any state in the country. The oldest European established settlement in the continental U.S. is in St. Augustine. The state's Miami Beach has the largest collection of Art Deco architecture in the world. Florida produces more oranges than any other U.S. state. The state's Florida Keys is the southernmost point in the continental U.S. Florida's name means land of flowers in Spanish. The state's St. Augustine is the oldest European established settlement in the U.S. Florida is known for its alligator population, with gator wrestling being a unique sport. The state's Daytona Beach hosts the famous Daytona 500 NASCAR race. The state was home to famous author Ernest Hemingway during the 1930s. Florida's Coral Castle is a mysterious structure built single-handedly by Edward Leedskalnin. The state's Crystal River is the only place in the U.S. where you can legally swim with manatees. Florida has numerous shipwrecks that make it a top destination for divers. The state's Miami hosts Art Basel, one of the premier art shows in the world. Georgia is known as the Peach State, but produces more peanuts than peaches. The world's most popular soda, Coca-Cola, was invented in Georgia. Civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta. The state's Okefenokee Swamp encompasses over 400,000 acres of canals and moss-covered trees. The Masters Golf Tournament is held annually in Augusta. Georgia is the home of the Vidalia onion, which can only legally be grown in certain parts of the state. Georgia's Savannah is known for its historic buildings, cobblestone streets, and parks. The state's Georgia Aquarium in Atlanta is one of the largest in the world. Georgia's Stone Mountain is one of the largest single masses of exposed granite in the world. The state's Springer Mountain is the southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail. Georgia's name is in honor of King George II of England. The state's Okefenokee Swamp is one of the largest and most primitive swamps in the U.S. The state's Atlanta is the headquarters of CNN, one of the world's major news networks. The state's University of Georgia is one of the oldest public universities in the U.S. The state's Augusta hosts the Masters, one of golf's most prestigious tournaments. The state's Savannah was the setting for the best-selling book, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. The state played a significant role in the Civil War. with many battles fought on its soil. Hawaii is the only U.S. state made up entirely of islands. The state's Mauna Loa is the world's largest volcano. Hawaii is the birthplace of modern surfing and the hula. The attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 led to the U.S. entering World War II. Hawaii's Iolani Palace in Honolulu is the only royal palace in the U.S. The state is the only U.S. state that grows coffee commercially. Hawaii is home to the world's most active volcano, Kilauea. The state is known as the birthplace of modern surfing. Hawaii's Pearl Harbor was the site of the 1941 U.S. naval base attack, leading to U.S. involvement in World War II. The state's traditional hula dance is a form of storytelling through movement. Hawaii is the only U.S. state composed entirely of islands. The state's coral reefs are some of the most diverse in the world. Hawaii's Mauna Kea is one of the best astronomical observation sites globally. The state popularized the ukulele, a musical instrument central to its culture. Hawaii is often called the Rainbow State, due to frequent rainbows resulting from its tropical location. Traditional Hawaiian luau's are a blend of food, music, and dance. The yellow hibiscus is Hawaii's state flower. The state's waters are a prime location for whale watching, especially humpback whales. Hawaii's history is deeply tied to Polynesian navigators and their voyaging canoes. Idaho is known for producing the most potatoes in the U.S. The state's Hell's Canyon is the deepest gorge in America. Sun Valley is recognized as the home of America's first destination ski resort. Idaho has the largest population of nesting eagles, hawks, and falcons. The state's seal was designed by Emma Edwards Green, the only state seal designed by a woman. Idaho's Sawtooth National Recreation Area covers 756,000 acres of scenic mountain country. Idaho's Sun Valley is one of the premier ski destinations in the U.S. Idaho's name is believed to be derived from a Shoshone language term meaning the sun comes from the mountains. The state's Salmon River is known as the River of No Return and offers thrilling whitewater rafting. Idaho's Coeur d'Alene is known for its beautiful lake and world-class golf course. The state hosts the World Center for Birds of Prey. Idaho was once a major hub for silver and gold mining. The state's Sawtooth National Recreation Area offers stunning mountain vistas and outdoor activities. Idaho is known as the Gem State due to its rich deposits of precious and semi-precious gemstones. The state offers some of the most scenic motorcycle routes in the U.S. Idaho's Hell's Canyon is deeper than the Grand Canyon. The state's Shoshone Falls is often referred to as the Niagara of the West. The state was the final residence of famed writer Ernest Hemingway. Apart from potatoes, Idaho is a major producer of barley and hops. The state's Boise State University is known for its unique blue football turf. Illinois is home to the third largest city in the U.S., Chicago. The state's nickname is the Land of Lincoln, where Abraham Lincoln began his political career. The world's first McDonald's opened in Des Plaines. Chicago's Willis Tower, formerly Sears Tower, was the world's tallest building from 1973 to 1998. Illinois was the first state to ratify the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, abolishing slavery. The Chicago River is dyed green every St. Patrick's Day. The state hosts the famous Indianapolis 500 car race annually. Illinois' name is derived from the native Algonquin word Illiniwak, meaning tribe of superior men. The state is famous for its unique style of deep dish pizza. Illinois' Chicago is home to the Willis Tower, one of the tallest buildings in the Western Hemisphere. The state's historic Route 66 starts in Chicago and runs all the way to California. Illinois' Springfield is the state capital and a major historical site. The state's Navy Pier in Chicago is one of the top leisure destinations in the Midwest. Illinois is home to the ancient Cahokia Mounds, the largest archaeological site north of Mexico. Illinois is often referred to as the Prairie State due to its vast prairies. The state has a rich jazz and blues heritage, especially in Chicago. The state's University of Chicago has produced numerous Nobel laureates. Illinois is a leading producer of soybeans, corn, and swine. The state's Pullman District in Chicago was the first model industrial town in the U.S. Indiana is known as the Hoosier State and has a rich basketball heritage. Orville Redenbacher's gourmet popping corn was developed in Valparaiso. The town of Santa Claus receives over 500,000 letters and requests at Christmas time. Iconic actor James Dean was born in Marion. Indiana has more covered bridges than any other state. Indiana's Indianapolis Motor Speedway is the world's largest auto racetrack and hosts the famous Indy 500. Indiana's name means Land of the Indians and reflects its Native American heritage. The state's Indiana Dunes National Park boasts over 15 miles of Lake Michigan shoreline. The state is known for its historic covered bridges, especially in Park County. Indiana is one of the top popcorn-producing states, thanks to Orville Redenbacher's influence. The state's Fort Wayne Children's Zoo is consistently ranked among the nation's top zoos. Indiana has one of the largest Amish populations in the U.S. The state's limestone from Bedford has been used in numerous iconic buildings. Indiana's capital, Indianapolis, is the crossroads of America with numerous interstates converging. The state has a rich jazz heritage, especially in Indianapolis. The state was the birthplace of the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Indiana is a leading producer of corn and soybeans. The state's Vincennes is the oldest continually inhabited European settlement in Indiana. Iowa produces more corn than any other U.S. state. The state's Iowa State Fair is one of the largest agricultural and industrial expositions in the U.S. The famous book and movie, The Bridges of Madison County, were set in Iowa. The world's largest cereal company, Quaker Oats, is in Cedar Rapids. Iowa's flag is patterned after the French tricolor and pays homage to the state's history as part of the French Louisiana Territory. Iowa's name is derived from the Iowa people, one of the many Native American tribes that occupied the state. The state is a leading producer of corn in the U.S. Iowa's Madison County is famous for its historic covered bridges. The state's Iowa State Fair is one of the largest and most famous in the country. Iowa is home to the Field of Dreams movie site, a major tourist attraction. The state's University of Iowa Writers' Workshop is one of the premier creative writing programs in the world. Iowa is bordered by the Mississippi River on the east and the Missouri River on the west. The state is a leader in wind energy production. Iowa was the birthplace of the 31st U.S. President, Herbert Hoover. The state hosts RAGBRAI, the oldest, largest, and longest recreational bicycle touring event in the world. Iowa's Amana colonies are a group of settlements of German pietists known for their crafts and cuisine. The state's Cedar Rapids houses one of the largest cereal mills in the world. Iowa's Des Moines is the insurance capital of the U.S. The state has a rich musical heritage with numerous jazz and blues festivals. Iowa's Loess Hills are unique wind-deposited hills found nowhere else in the U.S. Dubuque is home to the shortest and steepest railroad in the U.S. Kansas is known as the Sunflower State and produces large quantities of wheat. The state is part of Tornado Alley and experiences many tornadoes annually. Famous aviator Amelia Earhart was born in Atchison. The state's Wichita is known as the air capital of the world due to its major aircraft manufacturers. Kansas was the first state to ratify the 15th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which gave African American men the right to vote. Dodge City is the windiest city in the U.S. Kansas is named after the Kansa Native American tribe, which inhabited the area. The state is often called the breadbasket of the world due to its vast wheat production. Kansas's Dodge City is known as the cowboy capital and has a rich Old West heritage. The state is part of Tornado Alley and experiences numerous tornadoes annually. The state's University of Kansas has a storied basketball program. Kansas played a pivotal role in the desegregation of U.S. schools with the landmark Brown v. Board of Education case. The state's Tallgrass Prairie National Preserve is a remnant of the vast tallgrass prairie ecosystem. Kansas was the home state of the 34th U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower. The state is a major producer of sunflowers, and the sunflower is the state flower. Kansas is near the geographic center of the contiguous U.S. The state is a major beef-producing area with vast cattle ranches. Kansas's Topeka was a focal point of the civil rights movement. The state has some of the largest underground salt mines in the world. Kansas is famously associated with The Wizard of Oz, with Dorothy's iconic line, "We're not in Kansas anymore." The state is home to the famous Kentucky Derby horse race. Kentucky's bluegrass music is world-renowned. The state's Mammoth Cave is the world's longest cave system. Kentucky produces 95% of the world's bourbon whiskey. Abraham Lincoln was born in a log cabin in Hardin County. The state's Cumberland Falls is one of the few places in the world where a moonbow can regularly be seen. Kentucky's Derby is the oldest continuously held horse race in the country. The state is the birthplace of bourbon whiskey and has more barrels of bourbon than people. Kentucky's Mammoth Cave is the world's longest known cave system. The state is known for its distinctive bluegrass music. Kentucky is known as the Bluegrass State because of the grass found in many of its pastures. The state is a leading tobacco producer in the U.S. Kentucky was the birthplace of the 16th U.S. President, Abraham Lincoln. The state's Cumberland Falls is one of the few places in the world where a moonbow can regularly be seen. Kentucky's Fort Knox holds the U.S. Bullion Depository, a fortified vault building. The state is renowned for its horse farms and thoroughbred racetracks. Kentucky was home to the legendary frontiersman Daniel Boone. The state is a major coal producer in the U.S. Kentucky's Bowling Green is home to the National Corvette Museum. The state's eastern part is in the Appalachian Mountains. Kentucky is the birthplace of the world-famous Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC. Louisiana is famous for its Mardi Gras celebrations in New Orleans. The state is considered the birthplace of jazz music. The world-famous Tabasco sauce is manufactured in Avery Island. Louisiana's extensive bayous are home to the mythical creature, the rougarou. The state's name is in honor of King Louis XIV. Louisiana is known for its unique Creole and Cajun cultures and cuisine. Louisiana's unique legal system is based on Napoleonic Code, not English common law. Louisiana's Avery Island is the birthplace of Tabasco sauce. The state's New Orleans French Quarter is known for its historic architecture and vibrant nightlife. Louisiana is home to the vast Mississippi River Delta. The state is famous for its seafood, especially crawfish. Louisiana has numerous historic plantations that date back to the antebellum era. The state's New Orleans was severely affected by Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Louisiana was the birthplace of legendary musician Louis Armstrong. The state has a rich riverboat history, with steamboats playing a major role in its development. Louisiana's Baton Rouge is the state capital and a major port. The state is renowned for its Cajun and Creole cuisine. Louisiana, especially New Orleans, has a deep-rooted voodoo heritage. Maine is known for its scenic coastlines and iconic lighthouses. The state produces 90% of the country's lobster supply. Maine is the largest blueberry-producing state in the U.S. Over 90% of Maine is forested, more than any other state. The state's name is probably a reference to the mainland. Maine has a significant moose population, and the animals are a symbol of the state. The state's Acadia National Park is one of the most visited national parks in the U.S. Maine produces 99% of all the blueberries in the country. The state is home to a significant moose population. Maine's Portland Headlight is the oldest lighthouse in the state. The state is known for its shipbuilding history and sailing heritage. Maine is the home state of famed horror writer Stephen King. Over 80% of Maine is forested, making it the most forested state in the U.S. Maine has more coastline than California. The state is a major potato producer. Maine's Penobscot Narrows Bridge has one of the only bridge observatories in the world. The state is a popular destination for winter sports like skiing and snowboarding. Maine's Bangor was once the lumber capital of the world. Maryland's Chesapeake Bay is the largest estuary in the U.S. The state's Annapolis is home to the U.S. Naval Academy. Maryland is famous for its crab cakes and Old Bay seasoning. The state's Baltimore was the birthplace of the U.S. national anthem. Maryland's flag is based on the coat of arms of the Calvert family, the state's founders. The Preakness Stakes, part of the Triple Crown of horse racing, is held in Baltimore. Maryland is named in honor of Queen Henrietta Maria, wife of England's King Charles the Round. Maryland's Fort McHenry inspired the U.S. national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. The state's Baltimore Harbor has several historic ships, including the USS Constellation. The Black-Eyed Susan is Maryland's state flower. The state's Preakness Stakes is one of the 3 horse races in the Triple Crown. Maryland's Assateague Island is famous for its wild horses. The state's State House in Annapolis is the oldest in continuous legislative use in the U.S. Maryland, was the final resting place of famed writer Edgar Allan Poe. The state's Chesapeake Bay Bridge is one of the world's longest overwater structures. Jousting is Maryland's official state sport. The state's official dessert is the multi-layered Smith Island cake. Maryland's St. Mary's City is the site of the first European settlement in the state. The Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock in 1620. Basketball was invented in Springfield in 1891. The state played a significant role in the American Revolution, with events like the Boston Tea Party. Massachusetts is home to Harvard, the oldest institution of higher education in the U.S. The state's name means "at the Great Hill," in reference to the Blue Hills south of Boston. The infamous Salem witch trials occurred in Massachusetts in 1692. Massachusetts's Boston is one of the oldest cities in the U.S. The state's Harvard University in Cambridge is the oldest institution of higher education in the country. The state is the birthplace of basketball. Massachusetts is named after the Massachusetts tribe, meaning "at the large hill." The state's Salem is infamous for the 1692 witch trials. Massachusetts's Cape Cod is a popular vacation destination known for its beaches and seafood. The state's Fenway Park in Boston is one of the oldest baseball parks in the country. Massachusetts was the birthplace of famed children's author Dr. Seuss. Massachusetts's Boston Marathon is the world's oldest annual marathon. The state has numerous historic lighthouses along its coastline. Massachusetts's Berkshires are renowned for their scenic beauty and cultural attractions. The state's waters are a prime location for whale watching. Massachusetts's Lexington and Concord were the sites of the first battles of the American Revolution. Michigan is the only state that touches 4 of the 5 Great Lakes. Detroit is known as the Motor City and is the birthplace of the American automobile industry. The state's Mackinac Bridge is one of the longest suspension bridges in the world. Battle Creek is known as the cereal capital of the world. Michigan's name is derived from the Ojibwa word Michigama, meaning large water. The University of Michigan was the first university established by any of the states in 1817. Michigan is the only state to consist of 2 peninsulas and is bordered by 4 of the 5 Great Lakes. The state's Detroit is known as the Motor City and is the birthplace of the American automobile industry. Michigan's Mackinac Island is a historic resort area where cars are banned. The state's University of Michigan in Ann Arbor has one of the largest football stadiums in the world. Michigan's name is derived from the Ojibwa word Michigama, meaning large water or large lake. The state's Detroit is the birthplace of the Motown Sound. Michigan's Sleeping Bear Dunes are some of the largest freshwater dunes in the world. The state has more lighthouses than any other state. Michigan is a leading producer of cherries, especially in the Traverse City area. The state's Greenfield Village in Dearborn is one of the country's top living history museums. Michigan's Kalamazoo was the original home of Gibson guitars. The state's Isle Royale National Park is a remote island wilderness in Lake Superior. Michigan was once a major hub for copper and iron mining. The state's Holland hosts an annual Tulip Time Festival, celebrating its Dutch heritage. Michigan's Battle Creek is known as the cereal capital of the world. The state's Mall of America in Bloomington is the size of 78 football fields. The Mississippi River begins its journey in Minnesota's Lake Itasca. Minnesota's name is from a Dakota Sioux Indian word meaning cloudy water or sky-tinted water. The state is known as the land of 10,000 lakes, though it has over 11,000. The state bird, the common loon, is known for its eerie, haunting calls. Minnesota's winters are known for being particularly cold and snowy. State's Itasca State Park is the source of the Mississippi River. Minnesota is known as the land of 10,000 lakes, though it actually has around 12,000. The state is a popular destination for ice fishing in the winter. Minnesota's Minneapolis was once the world's flour milling capital. The state's Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness is a vast expanse of pristine lakes and forests. Minnesota was the birthplace of famed writer F. Scott Fitzgerald. The state's Minnesota State Fair is one of the largest and most attended in the U.S. Minnesota is the birthplace of the Honeycrisp apple. The state's Rochester is home to the world-renowned Mayo Clinic. Minnesota's Iron Range was a major source of iron ore in the U.S. The state has the unique distinction of having twin cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul. Minnesota folklore includes tales of the giant lumberjack, Paul Bunyan. The state is known for its cold winters and winter sports like hockey and skiing. Minnesota was the home state of iconic musician Prince. The state's name is derived from the Mississippi River, which means Great Waters or Father of Waters. Mississippi is considered the birthplace of the blues. The state has a rich cultural history, with influences from Native American, French, Spanish, and African sources. Mississippi produces the majority of the country's farm-raised catfish. The king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, was born in Tupelo. The state has a 44-mile-long coastline along the Gulf of Mexico. Mississippi's name means Great Waters, or Father of Waters in the Ojibwe language. The state is known for its well-preserved antebellum homes. Mississippi was the home state of famed writer William Faulkner. The state played a pivotal role in the U.S. Civil Rights Movement. Mississippi's Gulf Coast offers beautiful beaches and is a major tourist destination. The state is a leading producer of farm-raised catfish in the U.S. Mississippi's Natchez Trace Parkway is a historic forest trail that extends from Natchez to Nashville. Mississippi's Vicksburg was the site of a pivotal Civil War battle. The magnolia, the state's official flower, is a symbol of the South. The state's Delta region has a rich cultural and musical heritage. Mississippi has numerous ancient sites from the mound builders. The state's Biloxi is known for its casinos and coastal entertainment. Missouri's Gateway Arch in St. Louis is the tallest man-made monument in the U.S. The state is the birthplace of famous author Mark Twain. Missouri's name is believed to mean River of the Big Canoes. Kansas City has more fountains than any city except Rome. The largest beer-producing plant in the nation, Anheuser-Busch, is in St. Louis. The state is known for its unique style of barbecue, especially in Kansas City. The state is the birthplace of famed writer Mark Twain. Missouri is known as the Show Me State, emphasizing the virtues of simplicity and practicality. The state's Kansas City has a rich jazz heritage. Missouri was the home state of the 33rd U.S. President, Harry Truman. The state's Ozark Mountains offer scenic beauty and outdoor recreation. Missouri's St. Louis is the headquarters of Anheuser-Busch, one of the world's largest beer producers. The state's Branson is known as the live music show capital of the world. Missouri has a significant portion of the historic Route 66. The state is named after the Missouri River, which was named after the indigenous Missouri Indians. Missouri's St. Joseph was the starting point of the Pony Express. Missouri was the home state of the infamous outlaw Jesse James. The state is known as the Cave State, with over 6,000 known caves. Missouri's Forest Park in St. Louis was the site of the 1904 World's Fair. Montana's name is derived from the Spanish word for mountain. The state shares Yellowstone, the first national park in the U.S. with Wyoming. Montana's motto is Oro y Plata, which means gold and silver in Spanish. The state has a rich history of cattle ranching and is known as Big Sky Country. Montana is one of the few places in the U.S. where you can see grizzly bears in the wild. The state's Flathead Lake is the largest freshwater lake west of the Mississippi. Montana's Glacier National Park is often referred to as the crown of the continent. The state is known as Big Sky Country due to its expansive landscapes and clear skies. The state's Yellowstone National Park is the world's first national park. Montana is one of the few places in the U.S. where grizzly bears roam freely. The state has a rich ranching heritage, with cattle ranches dotting the landscape. Montana's Little Bighorn Battlefield is where the famous Battle of Little Bighorn took place. The state is a popular destination for fly fishing enthusiasts. Montana has numerous ghost towns that harken back to its mining days. The state's Flathead Lake is the largest natural freshwater lake in the U.S. west of the Mississippi. Montana has a rich Native American heritage with several recognized tribes. The state's Rocky Mountains are a popular destination for skiing and snowboarding. Montana is a significant source of sapphires in the U.S. The state's National Bison Range is a sanctuary for bison. Montana's Helena had more millionaires per capita than any other city in the world in the late 1800s due to gold discoveries. Nebraska is often called the Cornhusker State. The state's Chimney Rock was a famous landmark for travelers during the westward expansion. Nebraska's name is derived from an Oto Indian word meaning flat water. The state has a rich college football tradition, especially with the University of Nebraska. The popular drink Kool-Aid was invented in Hastings. Every year, hundreds of thousands of sandhill cranes migrate through the state. Nebraska's name is derived from the Otoe words Nibraj, meaning flat water. The state has a deep passion for college football, especially the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska is the birthplace of Kool-Aid, created in Hastings in 1927. The state's Platte River is a major migration route for sandhill cranes. Nebraska's Car-Hengen Alliance is a unique replica of England's Stonehenge made from old cars. The state is a major beef-producing area with vast cattle ranches. The state's Capitol building in Lincoln is the second tallest in the U.S. Nebraska was a key passage for pioneers on the Oregon Trail. The state played a role in the Underground Railroad, helping escaped slaves to freedom. Nebraska's Boys Town is a famous community founded for at-risk children. The state's Nebraska City is the birthplace of Arbor Day. Nebraska's Fort Kearny was a significant outpost during westward expansion. Nevada is home to Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. The state's Hoover Dam is one of the largest public works projects in the U.S. Nevada's name is derived from the Spanish word meaning snow-capped. The state is home to the mysterious Area 51. Nevada has more wild horses than all other states combined. The state is the largest gold-producing state in the U.S. The state is synonymous with gambling and has a rich casino history. The state's Area 51 is a top-secret military base surrounded by UFO and alien lore. Nevada's Hoover Dam is one of the largest and most famous dams in the world. The state hosts the annual Burning Man Festival in the Black Rock Desert. Nevada's Reno is known as the biggest little city in the world. The state has one of the largest populations of wild horses in the U.S. Nevada's Virginia City was a major silver mining town in the 19th century. The state's Lake Tahoe is one of the deepest and clearest freshwater lakes in the world. Nevada is known for its iconic neon signs, with many retired ones housed in the Neon Boneyard. The state's Route 375 is officially known as the Extraterrestrial Highway. Nevada is the leading gold-producing state in the U.S. The state's Red Rock Canyon is a popular destination for hiking and rock climbing. Nevada was the site of numerous above-ground nuclear tests during the Cold War. The state's Mount Washington has the highest peak in the northeastern U.S. New Hampshire holds the first primary in the U.S. presidential election cycle. The state's motto is, "Live free or die." New Hampshire is renowned for its vibrant fall foliage. The state was once home to the Old Man of the Mountain, a famous rock formation. New Hampshire produces a significant amount of maple syrup. New Hampshire's Mount Washington is the highest peak in the northeastern U.S. The state is renowned for its vibrant fall foliage, attracting tourists every autumn. New Hampshire is named after the English county of Hampshire. The state holds the first primary in the U.S. presidential election cycle. New Hampshire's Portsmouth is one of the oldest cities in the U.S. The state's White Mountains are a popular destination for skiing and snowboarding. New Hampshire was once home to the Old Man of the Mountain, a famous rock formation. The state's Lake Winnipesaukee is the largest lake in New Hampshire. New Hampshire was the home state of famed poet Robert Frost. The state's Dartmouth College in Hanover is a member of the Ivy League. New Hampshire has numerous historic covered bridges. New Hampshire is known as the Granite State due to its granite formations and quarries. The state's coastline, though short, is packed with history and natural beauty. New Hampshire's Laconia is home to one of the largest motorcycle rallies in the world. New Jersey's Atlantic City has the longest boardwalk in the world. The state is the birthplace of many inventions, including the electric light bulb and the phonograph. New Jersey's name is derived from the Channel Island of Jersey. The state is often called the diner capital of the world. Cape May is the oldest seaside resort in the U.S. The state is home to Princeton University. One of the oldest and most prestigious universities in the U.S. New Mexico hosts the world's largest hot air balloon festival in Albuquerque. The state is famous for the 1947 Roswell UFO incident. New Mexico's name is derived from the Spanish for New Mexico. The state's White Sands National Monument has the world's largest gypsum dune field. New Mexico's Carlsbad Caverns are among the most famous limestone caves in the world. Santa Fe, the state's capital, is the oldest state capital in the U.S. The state's Roswell is famous for the 1947 UFO incident. New Mexico is known as the Land of Enchantment due to its scenic beauty and rich history. The state has a unique Pueblo-style architecture, reflecting its Native American heritage. New Mexico's White Sands National Park boasts the world's largest gypsum dune field. The state's Santa Fe is the oldest state capital city in the U.S. New Mexico's Carlsbad Caverns is one of the most impressive cave systems in the world. The state is famous for its Hatch green chilies. New Mexico was the home state of renowned artist Georgia O'Keeffe. The state's Taos Pueblo is one of the oldest continuously inhabited communities in the U.S. New Mexico's very large array near Socorro is a major astronomical radio observatory. The state has a significant portion of the historic Route 66. New Mexico was the stomping grounds of the infamous outlaw Billy the Kid. The state has a rich Native American culture with numerous tribes and pueblos. New Mexico was the site of the world's first atomic bomb test at the Trinity site. New York's Statue of Liberty was a gift from France and is an iconic symbol of freedom. New York City is the most populous city in the U.S. The state's name is in honor of the Duke of York, who later became King James II of England. New York's Niagara Falls is one of the most visited natural attractions in the world. The state's Adirondack Park is the largest state-protected area in the U.S. New York City is the financial capital of the world, with Wall Street and the New York Stock Exchange. New York's Finger Lakes are a popular destination for wine enthusiasts. The state's Central Park in New York City is the most visited urban park in the U.S. New York's Cooperstown is home to the Baseball Hall of Fame. The state's Brooklyn Bridge is one of the oldest suspension bridges in the U.S. New York was the site of the famous 1969 Woodstock Music Festival. The state's Broadway in New York City is the epicenter of American theater. New York's Erie Canal played a pivotal role in the development of the U.S. interior. The state is the site of the Wright brothers' first flight in Kitty Hawk. North Carolina's Blue Ridge Parkway is known as America's favorite drive. The state's name is in honor of King Charles III of England. North Carolina is considered the birthplace of NASCAR. The state's Biltmore Estate in Asheville is the largest privately owned house in the U.S. North Carolina, has a rich maritime history with its many lighthouses and shipwrecks. The state is a hub for NASCAR and stock car racing. North Carolina shares the Great Smoky Mountains National Park with Tennessee. The state's coast was once a favorite haunt for pirates, including Blackbeard. North Carolina's University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is the oldest state university in the U.S. The state's Cape Hatteras Lighthouse is the tallest brick lighthouse in the U.S. North Carolina, was the birthplace of the Krispy Kreme donut. The state's Roanoke Island was the site of the Lost Colony, the first English settlement in the New World. North Carolina's Grandfather Mountain is one of the oldest mountains in the world. North Dakota produces more sunflowers than any other state. The state has a rich Native American heritage, with several tribes calling it home. North Dakota's name is derived from the Dakota Sioux tribe, meaning friends or allies. The state experienced an oil boom in the 2010s, leading to rapid economic and population growth. The state's Theodore Roosevelt National Park is named in honor of the U.S. president who spent time in the area. The state's Fargo is the largest city and economic hub. The state's Bakken Shale Formation has led to a modern oil boom. North Dakota's Fargo is the largest city in the state and known for its historic downtown. The state's National Buffalo Museum in Jamestown celebrates the iconic American bison. North Dakota honors Sacagawea, the Shoshone woman who assisted Lewis and Clark. The state has a rich Scandinavian heritage, celebrated in various festivals. North Dakota's Red River Valley is a fertile agricultural region. The state has numerous historic forts, including Fort Abraham Lincoln. North Dakota's Minot hosts the Norsk Høstfest, the largest Scandinavian festival in North America. The state is known for its cold winters and winter sports. North Dakota's Badlands offer unique and rugged landscapes. Ohio's Cleveland is home to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The state is the birthplace of aviation pioneers, the Wright brothers. Ohio's name is derived from the Iroquoian word Ohio, meaning Great River. The state's Cedar Point in Sandusky is known as the roller coaster capital of the world. Ohioan Neil Armstrong was the first person to walk on the moon. The state's Ohio River is one of the major rivers in the U.S. and played a significant role in its westward expansion. Ohio's Cleveland is home to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The state's name, Ohio, is derived from the Iroquois word Ohio, meaning Great River. Ohio is the birthplace of the Wright brothers, pioneers of aviation. The state's Cedar Point in Sandusky is known as the roller coaster capital of the world. Ohio has numerous ancient Native American earthworks and mounds. The state's Canton is home to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ohio is known as the Buckeye State, due to the prevalence of the Ohio buckeye tree. The state's Hocking Hills State Park offers stunning natural rock formations and waterfalls. Ohio was the birthplace of Neil Armstrong, the first person to walk on the moon. The state's northern border is formed by Lake Erie, one of the 5 Great Lakes. Ohio has one of the largest Amish populations in the U.S. The state's Ohio State University has a storied football program. Ohio's Dayton played a pivotal role in the history of aviation. The state's Cuyahoga River was so polluted it caught fire in 1969, leading to environmental reforms. Ohio is the birthplace of the iconic Airstream trailer. Oklahoma's name means red people in Choctaw. The state is part of Tornado Alley and experiences many tornadoes annually. The state's flag honors more than 60 groups of Native Americans and their ancestors. Oklahoma's Oklahoma City National Memorial honors the victims of the 1995 bombing. The state was heavily affected by the Dust Bowl in the 1930s. Oklahoma's name is derived from the Choctaw words Okla and Huma, meaning red people. The state has a rich cowboy and ranching heritage. Oklahoma has a significant portion of the historic Route 66. The state has a rich Native American heritage with 39 sovereign tribes. Oklahoma's Tulsa is known for its Art Deco architecture. The state played a pivotal role in the U.S. oil boom in the early 20th century. Oklahoma was the birthplace of folk singer Woody Guthrie. The state's history includes the famous Land Run of 1889. Oklahoma's state bird, the scissor-tailed flycatcher, has a unique and recognizable tail. The state has a fierce college football rivalry between the University of Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma was the home state of humorist and actor Will Rogers. The state is part of Tornado Alley and experiences numerous tornadoes annually. Oklahoma was a key part of the historic Chisholm Trail used for cattle drives. Oklahoma was a major destination for settlers during the oil boom in the early 20th century. The state has the longest drivable stretch of Route 66 in the U.S. The state's Oklahoma City National Memorial honors the victims of the 1995 bombing. Oregon's Crater Lake is the deepest lake in the U.S. The state was the end destination of the historic Oregon Trail. Oregon's name is believed to have been taken from the French word Oregon, hurricane, referring to the mighty Columbia River. The state's Portland is known for its unique culture and is the city of roses. The world-renowned company Nike was founded in Oregon. The state's coastline features the iconic Haystack Rock. Oregon's Crater Lake is the deepest lake in the U.S. The state was the endpoint of the historic Oregon Trail. Oregon is known as the Beaver State due to the importance of beaver fur trading in its history. The state's Portland is known for its motto, "Keep Portland Weird." Oregon's coastline features the iconic Haystack Rock. The state is renowned for its Pinot Noir wines. Oregon is the birthplace of Nike, the world's largest athletic shoe and apparel company. The state's Mount Hood offers year-round skiing and snowboarding. Oregon's Portland is home to Powell's Books, one of the largest independent bookstores in the world. The state's Columbia River Gorge is known for its stunning waterfalls. Oregon's Tillamook is famous for its cheese and dairy products. The state's Ashland hosts the renowned Oregon Shakespeare Festival. Oregon's Painted Hills are a colorful geological wonder. The state's Voodoo Donut is a popular and quirky donut shop. Oregon has numerous historic covered bridges, especially in its Willamette Valley. Pennsylvania's Philadelphia is the birthplace of the U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. The state's Hershey is known as the chocolate capital of the U.S. Pennsylvania's name means Penn's Woods, in honor of founder William Penn. The state has one of the largest Amish populations in the U.S. The state's Pittsburgh was historically known for its steel production. The iconic Rocky movie steps are located at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Rhode, Pennsylvania's Philadelphia, is home to the Liberty Bell, an iconic symbol of American independence. The state has a significant Amish population, especially in Lancaster County. Pennsylvania is known as the Keystone State due to its central position among the original 13 colonies. The state's Hershey is known as the sweetest place on earth and is the birthplace of Hershey's chocolate. Pennsylvania's Philadelphia was where the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution were signed. The state's Pittsburgh was historically known as the Steel City. Pennsylvania's Punxsutawney hosts the famous Groundhog Day event annually. The state is famous for its Philadelphia cheesesteak sandwich. Pennsylvania's Gettysburg was the site of a pivotal Civil War battle. The state's Philadelphia Museum of Art steps were made famous by the Rocky films. Pennsylvania has a rich Pennsylvania Dutch heritage, known for its unique crafts and foods. The state's Pocono Mountains are a popular destination for skiing and honeymooners. Pennsylvania was the birthplace of pop artist Andy Warhol. The state is home to Fallingwater, a famous house designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. Pennsylvania's Pottsville is home to Yuengling. The oldest operating brewery in the U.S., Rhode Island's Newport, is famous for its Gilded Age mansions. The state is known as the Ocean State due to its extensive coastline. Despite its name, most of Rhode Island is located on the mainland of the U.S. The state's Brown University in Providence is a member of the Ivy League. Rhode Island's Block Island is a popular summer tourist destination. Rhode Island's Newport is home to the famous Gilded Age mansions. The state is known for its sailing history and hosts the America's Cup race. Despite its name, most of Rhode Island is located on the mainland. The state's Brown University is one of the oldest universities in the U.S. Rhode Island has a longer coastline than California due to its many bays and inlets. The state is known for its jewelry manufacturing. South Carolina's nickname is the Palmetto State due to its state tree. The state's Charleston was the leading entry port for slaves to North America. South Carolina was the first state to secede from the Union in 1860. The state's Myrtle Beach attracts over 10 million visitors annually. The Civil War began at Fort Sumter in South Carolina. The state has a rich Gullah culture, descendants of African slaves who live in the Low Country. South Dakota's Mount Rushmore features the faces of 4 U.S. presidents. The state's Badlands National Park has some of the most unique geological formations. South Dakota's name is derived from the Dakota Sioux tribe. The state hosts the famous Sturgis Motorcycle Rally annually. The state's Mitchell is home to the world's only corn palace. South Dakota's Custer State Park is one of the largest publicly owned bison herds. Tennessee's Memphis is home to Elvis Presley's Graceland. The state's Nashville is known as the country music capital of the world. Tennessee's name is derived from the Cherokee town Tanasi. The state shares the Great Smoky Mountains National Park with North Carolina. The state's Lynchburg is the home of the world-famous Jack Daniel's whiskey. The state played a significant role in the civil rights movement, with events like the Memphis sanitation strike. Texas's Alamo is a symbol of Texan independence from Mexico. The state's Houston is home to NASA's Johnson Space Center. Texas's name is from the Caddo Indian word Teyas, meaning friends or allies. The state's Dallas Cowboys are known as America's team. The state flower, the bluebonnet, covers vast areas in the spring. Texas is known for its oil production and cowboy culture. Utah's Salt Lake City is the headquarters of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The state's Arches National Park has over 2,000 natural stone arches. Utah's name is derived from the Ute Indian word meaning people of the mountains. The state hosts the famous Sundance Film Festival annually. The state's Bonneville Salt Flats are known for land speed records. Utah claims to have the greatest snow on Earth for skiing. Vermont is the leading producer of maple syrup in the U.S. The state is known for its vibrant fall foliage. Vermont's name is derived from the French vert mont, meaning green mountain, Jerry's ice cream. Vermont has more covered bridges per square mile than any other state. The state's Lake Champlain is often referred to as the sixth Great Lake. Virginia's Jamestown was the first permanent English settlement in the U.S. The state's Arlington is home to the Pentagon, the world's largest office building. Virginia's name is in honor of England's Virgin Queen, Elizabeth I. The state's Williamsburg is a restored colonial town and major tourist attraction. Virginia is the birthplace of 8 U.S. presidents, more than any other state. The state's Blue Ridge Mountains are part of the Appalachian Mountain Range. Washington's Seattle is home to the iconic Space Needle. The state's Everett is the site of the world's largest building by volume, the Boeing factory. Washington's name is in honor of the first U.S. President, George Washington. The state's Mount St. Helens is known for its major eruption in 1980. Washington produces more apples than any other state. The state's Pike Place Market in Seattle is one of the oldest continuously operated public farmers markets in the U.S. West Virginia's New River Gorge Bridge is one of the highest vehicular bridges in the world. The state is a major coal producer in the U.S. West Virginia. became a state during the Civil War when it separated from Virginia. The state's Harper's Ferry was the site of John Brown's raid against slavery. The state is the birthplace of the golden delicious apple. West Virginia is known for its outdoor recreational activities, especially whitewater rafting. Wisconsin is known as America's Dairyland and produces more cheese than any other state. The state's Green Bay Packers are the only non-profit, community-owned Major League professional sports team in the U.S. Wisconsin's name is believed to be derived from the Miami Indian word mesconsing, meaning it lies red. The state is the birthplace of the Harley-Davidson motorcycle. The state's Milwaukee hosts Summerfest, one of the world's largest music festivals. Wisconsin Dells is known as the water park capital of the world. Wyoming's Yellowstone National Park was the first national park in the world. The state is known as the Cowboy State and has a rich rodeo history. Wyoming's name is derived from the Delaware Indian word, meaning mountains and valleys alternating. The state's Devil's Tower was the first national monument in the U.S. Wyoming was the first state to grant women the right to vote. The state has one of the largest populations of wild horses in the U.S., from sea to shining sea. Each state in our great nation has its unique story and contributions. Together they form the tapestry of America. From the vast plains of the Midwest to the towering peaks of the Rockies, from the bustling cities of the East Coast to the serene beaches of the West, the United States is a tapestry of diverse landscapes, cultures, and histories. We've journeyed through all 50 states, uncovering hidden gems and revisiting iconic landmarks, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. Every state holds countless stories waiting for you to discover. So what are you waiting for? Pack your bags, hit the road, and explore the wonders that the U.S. has to offer. And remember, every journey starts with a single step. Where will your next adventure take you? In the vast expanse of the United States, every road, every trail, every flight path tells a story. As we draw our journey to a close, let's delve deeper into the art of traversing this great nation. Imagine the early 20th century, when the first paved highways began to stretch across the nation. The American road trip was born out of a desire for freedom, exploration, and the thrill of the unknown. Highways like Route 66 became symbols of this newfound freedom. Tales from the road began to emerge, from families setting out to discover new places to writers and musicians finding inspiration amidst the vast landscapes. Along these routes, entire ecosystems sprang up. Motels with neon signs, diners serving up local delicacies, and gas stations became integral parts of the journey. Each had its own story, its own set of characters. RV travel offers a unique blend of adventure and comfort. It's not just about the destinations, it's about the community you build along the way. Across the country, RV communities gather to share tales from the road, tips on the best camping spots, and sometimes just to enjoy the camaraderie of fellow travelers. Train travel, on the other hand, harks back to a different era. There's a romance to it, a sense of nostalgia. As the landscapes change outside your window, you're privy to a visual tapestry of America's heartland. Imagine the golden age of train travel, when luxury cars with plush seats, gourmet dining, and impeccable service were the norm. Today, routes like the California Zephyr or the Coast Starlight strive to recapture that magic. Air travel, the most modern mode of transportation, offers a bird's-eye view of the country. From the air, state borders fade away, and you're left with a sense of the vastness of the land. Consider the pioneers of aviation, the Wright brothers, and Amelia Earhart. Their dreams and ambitions paved the way for the intricate network of flights that crisscross the nation today. And then, there's the road less traveled. Biking, hiking, or even motorcycling across the country offers an intimate, ground-level perspective. Every bump, every turn, every hill becomes a part of your story. Documenting your journey is crucial. Whether through words, photographs, or sketches, capturing the essence of your travels allows you to relive those moments and share them with others. But beyond the landscapes and the modes of travel, it's the people that truly define the American experience. Engage with locals, attend town fairs, participate in community events, and immerse yourself in the tapestry of cultures, traditions, and stories that make up the United States. Yet amidst this vastness, there are landmarks and attractions that stand out, beckoning travelers from near and far. Starting on the East Coast, the Statue of Liberty stands tall, a symbol of freedom and hope for millions who arrived on American shores. Further south, in the nation's capital, the White House stands as a testament to the country's democratic ideals. Venturing west, the Grand Canyon's vastness and beauty leave visitors in awe, a masterpiece carved by the forces of nature over millennia. On the Pacific coast, the Golden Gate Bridge, with its Art Deco details and iconic red hue, connects San Francisco's diverse neighborhoods. Up north, in the Black Hills of South Dakota, Mount Rushmore pays tribute to 4 U.S. presidents who shaped the nation's destiny. Down south, New Orleans' French Quarter pulsates with music, culture, and history, a melting pot of French, African, and Spanish influences. In the Pacific Northwest, Seattle's Space Needle offers panoramic views of the city, Puget Sound, and on a clear day, Mount Rainier in the distance. Yellowstone, America's first national park, is a wonderland of geysers, hot springs, and diverse wildlife. For those seeking entertainment, the Las Vegas Strip dazzles with its neon lights, casinos, and shows. In Texas, the Alamo stands as a symbol of resistance and Texan identity, a reminder of the 1836 battle for independence. Back east, Niagara Falls thunders with might, a natural wonder straddling the U.S.-Canada border. Florida's Miami offers sun-kissed beaches and the pastel hues of its Art Deco historic district. Midwest's St. Louis boasts the Gateway Arch, symbolizing the city's role as the gateway to the West. Boston, one of America's oldest cities, is a treasure trove of history, from the Freedom Trail to its colonial architecture. On the West Coast, Los Angeles's Hollywood sign stands as a beacon for dreamers and entertainers from around the world. Maine's Acadia National Park offers rugged coastlines, dense forests, and the first sunrise in the U.S. Chicago, the Windy City, is an architectural marvel with its skyline punctuated by historic and modern skyscrapers. Arizona's Sedona mesmerizes with its red rock formations, believed by many to be centers of spiritual energy. Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, is home to the Liberty Bell and Independence Hall, where the Declaration of Independence was signed. Lastly, Alaska, with its pristine wilderness, offers a chance to witness the mesmerizing Northern Lights, a natural light show like no other. In the heart of New York City, Times Square pulses with energy, its neon lights and Broadway marquees capturing the essence of the city that never sleeps. California's Sequoia National Park is home to the world's largest trees. These ancient giants have stood tall for thousands of years, witnessing the passage of time. Savannah, Georgia, with its cobblestone streets and historic squares, offers a glimpse into the Old South, where history and charm intertwine. Utah's Bryce Canyon is a natural amphitheater, its hoodoos and spires creating an otherworldly landscape that changes hue with the sun's movement. Off the coast of San Francisco, Alcatraz Island stands as a reminder of its past as a notorious federal prison, now a popular attraction offering insights into its storied history. Nashville, Tennessee, the country music capital, resonates with melodies, from its honky-tonk bars to the hallowed halls of the Grand Ole Opry. The Great Smoky Mountains, straddling North Carolina and Tennessee, are a hiker's paradise, with mist-covered peaks and rich biodiversity. Florida's Walt Disney World, the happiest place on Earth, offers magical experiences, from fairy tale castles to thrilling rides. California's Napa Valley, a wine lover's haven, boasts rolling vineyards and wineries that produce some of the world's finest wines. The Oregon coast, with its dramatic cliffs, sandy beaches, and historic lighthouses, offers breathtaking views and coastal adventures. Austin, Texas, prides itself on its vibrant music scene with festivals, live music venues, and street performers around every corner. Straddling California and Nevada, Lake Tahoe is a pristine alpine lake, popular for its water sports in summer and skiing in winter. Virginia's Colonial Williamsburg transports visitors back in time, offering a glimpse into 18th century America with its reenactments and historic buildings. Asheville's Biltmore Estate, the largest privately owned house in the U.S., showcases the opulence of the Gilded Age with its stunning architecture and gardens. Arizona's Antelope Canyon, with its wave-like rock formations and play of light, is a photographer's dream, showcasing nature's artistry at its best. In the end, traveling across the U.S. is not just about the destinations. It's about the journey, the experiences, the memories, and the stories that will be told and retold for years to come. Thank you for joining us on this epic voyage across America. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Until next time, keep the spirit of exploration alive, and may your journeys be filled with wonder.